Hi, Inverto Create. Dude, I can't read your name because it's like super neon. It's like hurting my eyes. Welcome to my channel though. I'm trying to come up with some floor texture that suits this pose. I live to create. 3 years part-time. But I consider my first year was just a massive learning curve. Thank you. Yeah, that's unfortunately I can't take credit for my music. That's from SoundCloud. I'll send you a link if you like it. Some guy from Turkey called Ahmet Kilik. If you like the music, I suggest listening to that guy. Oh, sorry, Live to Create. This is, sorry, I wasn't focusing on the chat. This is Substance Designer. That's Photoshop. In this case, I'm not really intensely using Photoshop. I'm just using it to create masks. So I use Photoshop. The models are Maya. So I use Maya to create my models. In this case, this is a building, so I'm working on one of my modules you can construct. It's got an interior and exterior. It's like a power core. There you go, something like that. The idea is you'll see this. So if we look in the game, that module there. So you see it's transparent. And you can almost see through there. So when I start texturing the inside here, that should pop nicely. So right now I'm working on these side corridors. Just trying to get the right sort of combination of metal and floor surface, really. So that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, any other questions? Live to Create, yeah, it is pretty cool. It's a bit in flux right now. If you go look at some of our Twitter, like if you follow my link on the website to Twitter, good question. Yes, how did I get into game development? Well, long story short, I'm from South Africa, so in South Africa there was no real it's not that powerful, but yeah, it gets a bit sluggish. I need to upgrade. I'm from South Africa, so in South Africa there's no real game industry. So I mean, for a living, I actually build business apps, right? I'm a full stack developer using like the Microsoft stack, MVC, anything really. But after about 15 years of doing that, about what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, I moved to California, and found out about Unity. And because I'm a C# developer, I thought, oh, let's try this. So fell in love with it, and obviously it's kind of like a dream for me, or always used to be a dream to create my own game. In fact, that was the reason I started programming, right? So 15 years onwards, 12 years onwards, doing business apps, I'm finally at the point now where, you know, I can build a game by myself. So the coding part was the easy part, because that's what I do for a living. Although I probably had to touch up quite a lot on my math. You know, San Francisco, I love San Francisco. I'm originally from Cape Town. But right now, I actually live in the Cayman Islands. So, long story short. but I'll probably move back to the States as soon as my time runs up. Yeah, so the good news is I'm coming back to the States one day, very soon, soonish. Depends what happens on the island. It's not a massive job market here, but we enjoy the island lifestyle, right? It's a very place to feel creative as well. So I do a lot of creation. But anyway, thank you for asking the questions. I'm happy to answer any other questions you have. Alright, this floor texture is bugging me though. It looks too institutional, and I probably need to build some pipes or something to hide the seam. Alright. So yeah, this is like all creations of mine. There's a few characters here somewhere. So the scene is a bit in flux right now because I'm trying to get all these modules in place. Here's another one I did. Still need to texture it. So notice how they link in together. So it's hard work, it really is. It's definitely not easy. So these are actually temporary textures, and these are my sort of my final physically based textures. So to get the art, right now I'm just focusing on all the art. How long? I've been doing my for more than 3 years now. But in the beginning it was quite difficult. I'll be honest with you, like we have a friend of mine in South Africa that helps us with the characters. I can do characters and this kind of stuff, but I won't consider myself a pro with it. But structural stuff and like spaceships, I seem to be pretty good at. Well, I hope so. I hope the gamers think so, at least. Anyway, yeah, it's my little rant. Oh man, I'm just not feeling this. Not feeling it. Don't know what to do. Let me have a look at the Unity's color chart here. Alright. This will be a bit medium. Try platinum. What is my approach? Brute force. The thing is, you just have to start small. Like what I did was, first of all, there's great tutorials on Unity sites. So just search for those. That will get you into the basics of coding and texturing and materials and the basic knowledge you need. When it comes to Maya, there's some great videos, but I would actually recommend signing up for like digital tutors or whatever they're called now. They've got some training courses. Because I taught myself, I missed a lot of things, right? So like, you'll notice I don't use the shortcuts, and then professional modelers on my channel will like tune me, hey, why don't you just use the shortcut? And it's just because I have like Pluralsight, yeah, that's right. So I won't say I'm an expert. I'm a 3-year modeler, right? These guys have been doing it for a long time and are really good at it. But I think there's also like it's all about practice, right? So you just need to jump in there, create something. Because you first have to determine whether you can create something. Some people, for example, are not good at coding. Some people are not good at art. I wasn't good at art. I won't consider myself a best artist in the world, but it took some time building up those skills, right? And also Photoshop, right? So I won't. Okay, so Live to Create. The reason Unity is so cool is if you go straight OpenGL, like if you just do like there's a guy called Handmade Hero. That's great for learning how OpenGL works. In this case, though, I wanted to, like get on with it. So the game engine is a massive part of that. If you just go straight OpenGL, you basically have to do what the Unity guys did. Probably not on that scale, but depending on what game you want to create, if you want to like start building your own raw like OpenGL, I just think it's going to be a lot of work. And then remember, then you have to, multi-platform it. OpenGL is an API, is not object-orientated. It's flat library calls, so there's a lot of considerations. I think C# is actually a huge factor for me, just really because C# is such a powerful language for scripting. And I mean, you should join me when I code. I utilize C# to its fullest potential. So, and that makes a huge difference in terms of getting stuff done. And to be honest with you, I'm like a lone ranger in terms of building this. So if I had to like do my own low-level code, it would just take me forever, right? So at least this way I can get some results. If I had my own studio with like 15 developers, I would definitely employ some C++ engine experts. I'm not that guy. I'm a logic guy. I like building games. I like, vector math and this kind of stuff. I'll do my own low-level stuff, but it's all about getting on with it, Building a game is not an easy task. It's not at all. I mean, the amount of times I almost gave up is unbelievable. But you just keep going because and the part that keeps you going is tangible results. And for me, that means using a game engine like Unity, so you can get quicker to where you want to be. Animations are baked into this engine, physics are baked into the engine, all kinds of stuff, right? So, and it's easy to use. The API is really, really good. People always ask me if this is my first game, and I would say yes, but it's the third version of this game. So if you go look at the YouTube, that is a 1-year-old YouTube video, and stuff has changed quite a lot. So yes, it is my first game, but it's coding wise, I've got years and years of experience. So also I worked a lot in AI, so in the past, so I used to do a lot of AI algorithms and stuff, so I'm using all of that stuff in my game now, which is crazy. Like some of the forecasting methods and stuff and business app knowledge that I gained is actually, I find, helps you build a game. So doing one actually makes you better at the other. Anyway, yeah. So you notice I don't talk too much until I get an opportunity. So also, like, Live to Create, like there's a lot of guys like on Gamer Sutra that will say, like, don't worry, this is your first project. You'll get it on your second project. For me, there's only really one game I want to create, right? I have a very clear idea of what I want to do. I've mapped it all out. So I've planned it. I know exactly how and what I want to do and what direction I want to do it in. So for me, there's only one game. And there's, I started with crappy graphics. My models were terrible, my geometry were terrible, and I would revisit it, fix the stuff, and like rediscover stuff I did 2 years ago, right? Just carry on like that. So for me, there's only one game, but 3 versions of it already. I mean, this is just a small part of it, really. The code base is massive. Anyway. Are you looking to create games? Are you interested? I just want to get some coffee on the back. Oh, music.
I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about.
Well, I'll tell you what, Live to Create. Creating a game is quite a commitment, my friend. It's hard. Especially if you have a day job and you have to pay the bills. It can get tricky. Because when I get home from work, I'm mentally tired and then I still have to like create some content and stuff in my game. So I'm pacing myself. But yeah, it's hard. But I think it's very, very satisfying to, you know, see your creations work. I love to create too, right? See, I still need to texture all of this. All of that. Lots and lots of stuff I need to do. But the good news is the game logic is about 90% there, 80%. I would say 80%. So it's not just a case of like plugging in all the content. But the hardest, the bulk of the job is art. I can tell you now, like programming is probably 30% of it. Art, modeling, animation. It's very time consuming. And the tools don't always work like you expect. So, like Unity crashed just half an hour ago, so.
Gotta be your feisty side, raise that high. I love it when you look at me that way. Now, will you wanna run me here?
Sorry, Live to Create. I forget sometimes to put the music down. Um, what I was saying was coding is about 30% of it, and art is the other, 60 odd percent. And well, I suppose if you go, it depends what game you're making, right? I'm attempting quite a complicated game, so lots and lots of art. Why is this thing not being metallic? It's strange. Yeah, it's just not what I want.
Here we go back. This is a moment. Tonight is the night. We fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can hold us. Like the ceiling can hold us. Here we go back. This is a moment. Tonight is the night. We fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can hold us. Like the ceiling can hold us.